South Africa's political landscape is ever evolving, with new developments shaping the future of the nation. Today, we explore a fascinating question. Can former Chief Justice Mogoeng Mogoeng become South Africa's next president in the wake of former President Jacob Zuma's disqualification?
On the CR17 matter, it was a dissent. I did not finish it. The last part of it was, instead of the president addressing the truth that came out from the whistleblower, he then said, no, you stole it, to the public. You stole it. I said in that judgment, why are you not explaining why you had to hide this document? It was a judgment, sir. So it's a different judgment. I'm not just coming up with an address that is not in a court judgment. It is there. The public protector versus the president. So that answers your question.
Hello and welcome to Inkari. It's time. I'm Kondus, your host. And in today's video, we're diving into the possibility of former Chief Justice Mogoeng Mogoeng running for president, particularly with the recent disqualification of former President Jacob Zuma from parliament. Let's explore the legalities, political dynamics, and potential pathways for this unprecedented scenario.
Of course, we heard from the court this was a unanimous decision saying, in fact, that Mr. Zuma is not only not eligible, but also not qualified to stand as a candidate, ahead of these elections. We're 9 days away from the elections. What is your reaction as the MK?
Well, our reaction is that this doesn't change anything. President Zuma's face is still on the ballot, which is what we wanted to achieve. That was achieved. And we are going to continue to campaign for a two-thirds majority, and that it further reinforces our position to ensure that we vote for a two-thirds majority to change this constitution. Remember, you have 10 individuals here in the form of judges, 60% of them, 6 of them, who would not recuse themselves. Naturally, the judgment that has now been handed down would be going against the initial 15-month sentence that was handed down against President Zuma in the first place. So they are conflicted. And how is it possible that 10 unelected individuals make decisions on behalf of 62 million South Africans and effectively, infringing on their rights to choose who they want in the National Assembly? That's very telling in of itself, including the fact that 6 of them were conflicted. No, President Zuma is going to continue to be president of MK Party. And like I said, if we want President Zuma to be president again, people must vote for a two-thirds majority so we can change this constitution. But for you to then say that we were satisfied, we welcomed the outcome because that's how it ought to be. In the same way we welcomed the electoral court when they, turned down the application of Section 47(1)(e) by the IEC to uphold an objection. So it doesn't change anything. If President Zuma feels that we should deploy someone else, then shall it be. Whoever it is that we deploy will still be guided by the wisdom of President Zuma. So it doesn't change anything. It means nothing for us right now. And people should not be concerned about that. And we believe that there's enough depth, but more so, this is what was said as a spiritual process. What happens after the elections, you never know.
He said he doesn't want it to happen through an electoral process. He doesn't want me to join a political party. He doesn't want me to form any political party. It is going to be miraculous. And I pause there to remind people that it looked like a foolish thing for me to make myself available for the position of judge of the Constitutional Court. There was mockery all over the media that I was just a lay preacher who knew nothing about the law. And it got worse after my nomination and appointment for the position of Chief Justice. I was projected as this idiot, this lapdog of President Zuma, who knew the Bible and knew nothing about the law. And as it turned out, they all ate humble pie.
Is there a lot of expectation, and as far as your members are concerned, that by virtue of, former President Jacob Zuma's face being on that particular ballot, they want to see him in Parliament? What are your next steps? What are you going to be telling your members are going forward in as far as that is concerned?
No, our members should not be concerned. In actual fact, this reinforces our position that we must go out on our numbers and vote for a two-thirds majority to overturn this constitution and to change this constitution, which doesn't suit us.
How are you going to do that?
How are we going to do that? We're going to go out and vote in our numbers. That's just the reality. People want change. People want their president in the union buildings. And if that is the case, not just a handful of judges who will now try and determine their future and withdraw.
Well, that's not going to happen now. I mean, he's eligible to stand again in 5 years' time. So, I mean, after that sentence is over. So that's not going to happen now.
No, that's what you're saying. It's in 5 years now off the back of this constitution that needs to be changed. When we change the constitution, we can even institute a referendum if we wanted to. But if people, and therefore the majority in this so-called democracy, want President Zuma to be president of this country, that can be done by virtue of them voting for a two-third majority. And we change the constitution. What's wrong with that? You don't have to wait for 5 years. No. You can put President Zuma effective immediately. And it must be the people's will.
Very quickly as we wrap, now that of course, the Zuma will not be then standing and going to Parliament, what are you doing with your candidate list?
Again, that's your view, that he will not be going to Parliament. We've not even reached elections yet. Have we gotten a two-third majority yet? Not yet. So you can't pronounce that President Zuma is not going to be in Parliament. Wrong. We're saying that we'll vote for a two-third majority to ensure he gets into Parliament. I think that is as clear as day, unless if there's something...
You must know there is an attempt to corrupt the judiciary. You must know there is an attempt to capture the judiciary. And a captured judiciary will never be able to use the Constitution as an instrument of transformation. Because any captured member of the judiciary will simply be told or will know in advance when so and so are involved, I better know my place. Or when certain issues are involved, well, the decision is known in advance. So and so can't lose. Be on the lookout, be vigilant, and be forceful in making uncomfortable anybody who seeks to establish a pliable judiciary. Madiba himself.
Jacob Zuma's disqualification from Parliament stems from his legal troubles, which have rendered him ineligible to hold a parliamentary position. But how does this impact the broader political landscape? And could it pave the way for Mogoeng Mogoeng to step in?
We owe it to this country and generations to come to make sure that we don't have a compromised judiciary. You must know there is an attempt to capture the judiciary. And a captured judiciary will never be able to use the Constitution as an instrument of transformation. So you must watch us carefully. Who do we associate with the most? Who are we uncomfortably or indecently friendly to? And check judgments when those people are involved. Does it make sense?
To understand this, let's first look at Mogoeng Mogoeng's background. As Chief Justice, he was known for his strong stance on judicial independence and his impactful rulings. But transitioning from the judiciary to the highest political office involved several steps and challenges.
In the presence of everyone assembled here,
in the presence of everyone assembled here,
and in full realization of the high calling I assume,
and in full realization of the high calling I assume,
as President of the Republic of South Africa,
as President of the Republic of South Africa,
I,
Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa,
swear that I will be faithful to the Republic of South Africa.
Swear that I will be faithful to the Republic of South Africa.
And will obey.
And will obey.
Observe.
Uphold.
And maintain the Constitution.
And maintain the Constitution.
And all other law of the Republic.
And all other law of the Republic.
And I solemnly and sincerely promise.
And I solemnly and sincerely promise.
That I will always.
Promote
all that will advance the Republic.
Promote all that will advance the Republic
and oppose all that may harm it,
and oppose all that may harm it,
protect and promote the rights of all South Africans,
protect and promote the rights of all South Africans,
discharge my duties with all my strength
discharge my duty with all my strength
and talents to the best of my knowledge
and talents and to the best of my knowledge
and ability, and true to the dictates of my conscience.
And true to the dictates of my conscience.
Do justice to all.
Do justice to all.
And devote myself to the well-being of the Republic.
And do justice to the well-being of the Republic.
And all of.
For Mogoeng Mogoeng to become president, he would need to be nominated as a candidate, likely by a political party like the MK Party. This process involved several key steps. 1. Joining the MK Party. 2. Being nominated and elected as a member of parliament. 3. Gaining the majority support of the MPs in the National Assembly to be elected as a president.
Because I had the full backing of the Almighty God.
Right. I'm sure a lot of South Africans would agree that you did a good job as the head of the judiciary in this country. But at this point in time, the interest is whether you will throw your lot to stand for election as president. And as you're saying, it's not going to happen. How then, if God doesn't want you to be president, if that were to be the case through a political process? I mean, you would know that in this country, the president is elected by members of parliament, and how then would it happen that you would be president if that is not going to be the process?
Well, I can't project myself into the mind of the Almighty God. It's still a miracle that I became Chief Justice. And who said, I'm just there just to keep you thinking, who said that this same Almighty God cannot move political parties, given how many they are? At some stage when they have to elect the president, the National Assembly has to elect the president, and there's a stalemate. They can't just agree on who of the politicians should take over. Who said God can't touch them and say, there is a man who is not in any political structure? Go to that man, approach him, and let him take a seat. Somebody vacate a seat, let him come in and vote him into the position of the. Who said it can't happen?
So in a nutshell,
you have to raise your fist out there and say, elect me, elect. It's going to be miraculous.
So in a nutshell, you still believe that you might miraculously become the #1 citizen of this country?
I'm not saying might. It's unstoppable. It's inevitable. I don't know when, but God will surely do it, and you must come and interview me. And I'll say, you see how great this God is. It sounds crazy. It sounds nonsensical. But I have seen how unlimited the power of this God is. You'll be shocked. Everybody.
You will be president of South Africa.
I am going to be president of this country at the appointed time. I don't know when. It may even be next month. You never know when it's going.
No wonder there are so many attempts to eliminate me. I won't elaborate, but it's good enough to say that I'm aware there was a plan to take my life before the end of last month. But by the grace of God, I'm here. People know it, they believe it, and there are so many political formations out there that are reaching out to me to be involved in their political activity, but it is the Almighty God that I'm going to follow. I'm not hungry for any position. Yeah. I'm not hungry for publicity or fame or anything of the sort. As I said before, I would be just too happy to enjoy my pension. But when God says, you are the one I'm going to send at the time appointed by me, I dare not disobey.
While there is no legal barrier preventing Mogoeng Mogoeng from entering politics, the transition from judiciary to executive office is complex and unprecedented. It requires significant political backing and public support. The Constitution allow any eligible South African citizen to run for president, provided they are a member of the National Assembly. Mogoeng Mogoeng's judicial background could either be seen as a strength, demonstrating integrity and independence, or as a challenge, given the distinct roles of the judiciary and executive. Public opinions plays a crucial role in this equation. Recent polls suggest a mixed reception to Mogoeng Mogoeng's potential candidacy, with some citizens valuing his judicial record and others skeptical of his transition to a political role. Additionally, the MK party will need to secure enough parliamentary seats and build a coalition to support his candidacy.
Why does it look like we are failing or unwilling to resolve the all-important Eskom issue? After all, it has been many years since those who were allegedly corrupt and destroying Eskom have been relieved of their duties. The same group that actually ended load shedding at some point. Besides, this is not a new problem, and our future, our economy and credibility as a nation depends on the functionality and efficiency of Eskom. I saw a clip of one of our businessmen complaining about how cheap the public obtains electricity from Eskom and that it made it difficult for the private sector to compete with Eskom. Is that clip real and true? Or is it one of those maliciously manufactured campaigns against innocent people? It needs to be looked into, together with the explanatory note that goes with it. It bears emphasis that the resolution of the Eskom problem is long overdue. This is a matter of constitutional office bearers and the state having to own up to their critical obligations, and our curiosity should extend to whether independent power producers are a blessing or a liability, including whether we, the people, are getting value for money from them. It is.
If you ask me, I think Mogoeng Mogoeng has the integrity and experience we need in a leader. He could bring much needed change. But switching from the judiciary to politics is a big leap. I'm not so sure if he can handle the political pressure. As we move closer to this upcoming election, the possibility of Mogoeng Mogoeng running for president adds an intriguing dimension to South Africa's political landscape. What do you think about this potential shift? Let us know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful analysis and updates on South Africa's politics. See you next time. Take care.